if you're getting into anything with AutoCAD, this is a tool to learn. Map clean, drawing cleanup. It allows you to do wonderful things to a lot of polylines very effectively. Things like delete duplicates, break crossing objects, snap apparent intersections, get rid of pseudo nodes and zero length objects, and even weak polylines. On top of that, you can modify the originals or create new ones, and you can convert everything. Look at this, you can even convert circles to polylines. Now, if I go back to that reverse command I wanted to use, it should have changed that. It should have changed the direction of those stakes, but it didn't. But I could probably, if I really wanted to get picky, and I know some engineers would, maybe I would just trim out a little section. Then I might try to reverse it. Oh, wow. That should work. If you had a polyline, it probably would. Regardless, one last thing to do is give that a call out label. Actually, if you guys do get into this program and you start looking around, and if you do find some of these styles that I've talked about, see all these call outs I just made? That looked like something you might like. Oh, wait, watch this. Match, if you're putting line labels and curve labels on, keep the same label style current. Oh, by a show of hands, is anyone going to go start fishing through some of the files I gave you? Hand raised, okay. Oh, look at that. And if you notice, there was also a label in there for the stabilized construction access, the limit of disturbance, and your silt fence. I basically have my soil erosion plan done. I'm going to go, all I did was right click on this page layout down here. Oop, not function control. And I went from template. I believe I have set up already a sheet for this. Ooh, I have not. Okay, hold on. Maybe I did, I don't think so. All right. But if you have your sheet set up in another file, your title block and everything, you can bring it right in and just change your text and have your sheet all set up. It should also bring in your viewport over your site. So that should also be set up as you need. This doesn't have one. I'm going to go back to that, and I'm going to just bring in a title block. I need one anyway, and I should have one in my templates here, open. And I'm going to bring this all into the forefront. And you see I'm able to bring in that page layout. It's down here now, that 36 by 24. Ooh. So I hope if you see my mouse bugging out, I hope my computer is not on. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. Something is bugging out. go. All right, good, excellent. So we didn't crash. And I got my title block in. Again, if you had one set up for your other previous work or previous maps, it'll be all set. This is not, but not a big deal. I can go UCS, R. Did I save it? No. No, I did not save it. So, 1 second, I go back to model space. In that coordinate system, I type UCS. I hit S for save. It's not shown, but it is there. And I give it a name. I just call it 1. That is the plan view. And then I can come in here and I can go UCS R1 and use the plan command to make my x-axis horizontal. Zoom 1 divided by 40 XP. And there's my site. All right, so what else do I need in here for a map per our syllabus? I need more information. Every map should have what?
A north arrow.
North arrow, good. What else do we have? What's this down here and over here? What's this?
The existing road?
The existing road, right? And what's down here? Existing properties, right? There's existing lots down here. I want all that information. That information should be on every map. But before we get into that, let me show you one other thing. We don't see my labels we made, do we? Oh, we see this one, but didn't I make 2 labels in here for limited disturbance and the filter fence? And didn't I put one over here for the construction access? Yeah, and they're gone. Why is that? And why also do I see this one and not those others? That's because this is a Civil 3D label and it knows scales. The other objects I made are AutoCAD annotative objects. And if you note, my annotative scale does not match the standard scale, the one that I'm zoomed to. When I created those multi-liters, do you remember I set my model space scale to 40? Hopefully, yes. Watch this. Ooh, look at that. See them appear? All right, if I go back to 30, I created them in 40 scale. They only have 40 scale assigned to them, so they're only going to print at 40 scale. So that's the secret to annotative objects, is make sure you create them in the same scale you want them to print. When you're done, lock your viewport. Now you can continue working. All right. And I saved that UCS, and I don't see it. I type UCS icon, and I turn it on, and it should show me down the corner. Oh, there it is, right there, my UCS icon. I need to bring in X references. If I bring them in with a UCS current, they will come in at the wrong coordinates. I need to set my UCS back to world, W, And you can see my UCS icon goes back to the origin of the sheet. And I get a little box at the origin of the icon. That indicates you're in world coordinates. When I'm in there, I can now use my X reference attach command. I can bring in the other base maps that I need for this project, or for this map. There are overlays, there's one, that's 0, 0, I hit OK. All right. Now, I think it's looking a little bit closer to a map. But there's still information on this map that I really don't need. And I'm going to use my layer freeze button up here. That I put in my quick access that you will find in your home right there. You right click any button on the ribbon, you can add it to your access up here so it's easily found. And I don't need to see in this map the meets and bounds. I don't need to see the sanitary text. And I just freeze them. And that is using the viewport freeze option. I don't need to show that information because it's on the subdivision plan. And it looks like I could use to either A, open this up and move these text strings over inside here, which I don't want to do because I'm going to have more maps we're going to have. Or I can just change my, and I should have bought in a bigger sheet. But not a big deal. What I could do in this case, and I'm going to select the viewport, come over a little bit with my folder of Snap-on, and I'm going to grip edit this and go to here. I'm going to grip edit this and go to here. So why is it important to show these labels on a soil erosion and sediment control plan and not the sanitary labels? Anyone have an idea?
Just because we need to put inlet filters on those?
Exactly. You want these are what we're looking to protect, right? We want to protect silt from going in here. And again, you don't have any possibility of getting any silt in here because this is uphill. But they want to look and make sure that this guy is protected. And if I put that filter fabric over here, is that protected? Yeah, because all this dirt should be going in, hitting here. So let's see, a couple other things I might want to do. And I probably don't want this printing that color, but maybe I want that printing that color. And zoom extents. I shift control S. I save this to my project in my sheets. SCSC. So is that like the easiest map you have to make in this whole project? Please someone say yes. Yes. All right. thing, but do you see the purpose of this map too, from a construction standpoint? And from a government agency, whether it be a town protecting downstream neighbors, or a county or state protecting streams and water courses, water supplies, how important these simple maps can be. That should be pretty evident as well. All right, so that was your quick lesson on soil erosion and sediment control plan. And that was all corresponding to my little lecture on your environmental impact. And again, every project, construction project, has environmental impact. Excuse me. Some are positive, many are negative. But you know, you could go into I don't know if you know, River Road in Passaic, River Road in almost any old former industrial town or industrial hub. These things have been paved forever. You could have a reclamation project, new development, that is taking a site that is literally 100% paved and making it a maximum of 70%. There's benefits to that situation. In a case like this, the long-term benefits are all negative because we're just basically going in there and clearing some road for our development, and then someone else will be clearing more for their homes on each lot. But it is a relatively low environmental impact with this, especially when you consider the total size of the lot and the area that is being left in its natural state, which is really quite a bit of it. In this. So when you write your environmental impact, again, go to your syllabus. Your outline is there for the whole every section of your report. But you're going to be discussing, again, the noise, the dust, protected land, wildlife, water courses. And again, I told you guys to assume that the only environmental constraints on this site are the riparian buffer to the channel that is in here. Don't necessarily see it, but there is a channel in there, and that closed contour, and this being downstream or a lower elevation than that demonstrates that. But we're protecting the riparian buffer to this channel, which is connected to another one here, and there is a wetland over here, and let me bring those layers in. X-attach the constraints. Okay. The green line is your wetland, and there should be two of them in there. Oop, I'm sorry for the ESPN buzzer. Turn my phone down. Something really important happened in sports where nothing is being played. All right, hopefully the Giants signed a huge free agent, but I don't know. Probably not. So, we are protecting, no chuckles in there, especially if you're a Cowboy fan. All right, so we're protecting this green wetland, and we are protecting this purple riparian buffer from development. That's why we are staying clear of that. And these are things to discuss in your environmental impact. You guys may decide to go on to the New Jersey GeoWeb, and you may find more environmental constraints. We're going to ask that you ignore them for the purpose of this course to keep your focus task or your task focused, I'm sorry, and limit it to this. But again, your environmental impact, noise, dust, protected lands, your stormwater discharge, and you guys need to go online and get into, again, the New Jersey Stormwater Rule and the best management practices, and look up groundwater recharge. Groundwater recharge is a requirement for every major development in the state of New Jersey. What it says is that if you're going to disturb 1 or more acres of land or a 1/4 acre or more of impervious surface, you need to meet water quality and groundwater recharge unless you're in certain zones in New Jersey, and we are not here. And groundwater recharge means is that you've got to put water back into the ground where you're taking it away from the pavement that you're putting in, and from where the woods you're taking out and putting in lawn, because the woods have a lot more seepage into the ground than a residential lawn and or a road surface. Now, there is a simple spreadsheet that NJDEP has. It's the groundwater recharge spreadsheet. Just Google search New Jersey NJDEP groundwater recharge spreadsheet or groundwater recharge XLS. You will find it really quick. You'll use that with your soils map and determine the area of the soils. And this is limited to your disturbed area, existing and proposed. Do not do it for the full site. Your requirement will be much, much larger than you expect. You do it for the area that you are disturbing. Anything that is undisturbed is in its natural state and should not be analyzed. But you put in the area for each soil within your disturbed area for existing and proposed conditions, and it tells you how much recharge you need. You put in the dimensions of your detention basin, and it should tell you if you meet the recharge requirement or not. It's pretty simple. The Best Management Practices Manual has full instructions on how to complete the spreadsheet. So you should be able to do that pretty easily. And you'll find our syllabus tells you where to get that and how to Google search it, but I just gave you that information as well. All right, so that's all part of your environmental impact. We also have our erosion control, and we discuss how we have place soil erosion control devices like silt fences around our limit of disturbance, inlet filters around our proposed inlets, and filter or silt fence around our stockpiles to prevent clogging our storm sewers and to prevent adding silt to our waterways, and that we have a state conforming plan for soil erosion and sediment. Your environmental impact statement could be, a handful of paragraphs addressing those topics, stating how you are going to mitigate noise. We mitigate noise by limiting construction hours, by limiting jake breaks. we mitigate dust by using water trucks, temporary seating, and by minimizing land disturbance. Okay, someone had a question? No? Okay. Again, feel free, if you have a question, speak up, and or, I do believe I have my chat window. But I don't see any, chat. Have you guys been writing anything in chat? I know I saw some hands up. I want to make sure. No answers. You guys fall asleep? Is it that boring? We only have 2 more hours to go. Come on. All right. Speak up if you're having any problems hearing me or seeing my screens. Everybody's good, right? I am not seeing. Yeah, we're good. Oh, okay. Thank you, Pooja. I saw that text, but they go away on me, those chat messages. And I'm not seeing them stay up. That's what I want to see. WebEx meeting, that's not it. Should be here. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Oh, there we go. I just saw it. Come back. There. Oh, I see how to get it now. All right. So let's see. Chat. There we go. All right. Excellent. All right. I'm back on track. And we're talking about your environmental impact statement. And that it should basically be, you've already given, you should just, this project is proposing a new road and associated utilities to support single-family home. And I would just make a statement that, you are increasing impervious surface. There will be, relatively minor impacts from noise, relatively minor short-term impacts from noise, dust, and erosion, but these are all being mitigated again in these fashions. We have protected properties or protected land on this property, but we are meeting separation requirements, and we are not disturbing land within those protected, or we're not proposing disturbance within those protected lands. We are protecting our stormwater discharges from getting silt and soil in them, and that we have a state conforming soil erosion. Should be pretty simple and basic. It should not be much more than a page or 2 at most. But does anyone have any questions on your environmental impact statement and or the soil erosion and sediment control plan?
I was looking at the USGS web survey soil survey, and there is the portion of it that I saved for erosion. in dealing with that, like, what kind of things should I be looking at regarding, like setting up the statement?
Okay, so you're digging into the engineering reports, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. That's good information. And what those engineering reports are gonna tell you are general soil characteristics, such as how prone it may be to erosion in this case. But you guys will also, and you should all know this, that when you dig into those reports, that's where you find your bearing capacity of the soils. That's where you can find, and we've talked about this already, your hydrological groups. It also provides recommendations for the types of foundations you can use in there, but it's not very specific. Remember, these are these soil maps were created for the country, put it that way, not for your site.
Mm-hmm.
So first off, in a real project, you could use this information for some rough calculations and initial calculations, but prior to construction, you would be required to have soil testing performed, particularly within the detention basin and anywhere you have a stormwater best management device, to demonstrate that your assumptions taken from the soil survey are in fact valid, and you can demonstrate that they're good for your site specifically. But I'm glad you went into that, but you don't need it for your project.
Okay.
As far as your environmental impact, unless there is a soil in there that says it's highly erosive, and I don't believe you have that in this region, they would be very sandy soils generally, it should not be an impact. Where would this be an issue more? If we were in the Pine Barrens, anywhere along the coast. If we were out in the Midwest, in very arid climates. But good information, and I don't want you guys, there's a lot of information in that web soil survey, a lot. Try to limit your tasks for this course to what is required, and that really is basically the hydrologic